Welcome to another CEO Wisdom Pod. We have Ariel Rosenfeld with us. I'm excited to have Ariel because he's a fellow ultramarathon runner, way more accomplished than I am in that arena. For example, the guy did the Spartathlons 3 times. He won the Berlin 100 miles, which is a very important feat. We're going to talk about it. And was the Israeli overall champion for 24 hours of running, 4 years in a row. So, pretty accomplished guy. He's also CEO of a company called 3D Signals. Potentially about to become a customer of mine. I'd be honored. So, Ariel, welcome to the podcast. Tell me a bit more about yourself and what you're up to nowadays.
Yeah, thank you for having me here. So, as you mentioned, I'm CEO of an Israeli high-tech startup company. And usually, people say that, running a startup is like running a marathon. I do it literally. Really, I think for the last 17 years, I'm running long distances. And for the last decade, my main focus in that arena is races that are either longer than 24 hours or 200 Ks. And happy and excited to be here. Other than the thing that you mentioned, proud father of 3 and vegan for more than a decade.
Right. And before that, you were also like a private hedge fund manager. So, what had you pivot from this to being the CEO of 3D Signals?
Yeah, so even before that period, I was the GM for an Israeli the invention, which is the USB memory stick, the USB flash drive for the Israeli company that invented the product. That was quite a long time ago, between 2002 and 2005. And then in between that period and 3D Signals, I kind of reinvented myself and developed algorithms for managing trades in the stock market, and did it for my own money and for other people as well. And then came back to the startup field after 12 years doing other things.
Interesting. And you mentioned that, yeah, some people say that running a company is like running a marathon. Yesterday, after training 70K on Saturday, I asked ChatGPT a question: why can I not ultra run a business? And it gave me like an interesting answer, right? Because there's so many other components in business. It's not just endurance, it's not just grit, it's not just hustle, right? Like there's markets, products, there's marketing, there's competition, and all of that. What aspects do you bring from ultramarathon to business, and where are you not like naive enough to say like, hey, I can just hustle my way out of this and get to product market fit?
Good question. So I think I see more the similarities than the differences. So the similarities are, you are trying to see, you're shooting very high. You're trying to do things that are very ambitious. Even sometimes for you, it would seem impossible or way out of the comfort zone. Then in order to make it more realistic, you'll try to plan it, and like breaking that into smaller milestones, and that you'll be able to not just execute, but plan before you do that. Then you will need to invest a lot of time and effort. You will fail a lot, but that should not stop you from taking a lesson, trying again, better, smarter. So I see, and even one of the most important parts, you should enjoy the ride and the journey. So at least in my opinion. So I see a lot of the similarities. As for the ChatGPT answer about, that's not exactly, because here you have competitors or market and things. I see it exactly the same. Like in a higher level, there are things that will be in your control, and there are things that will never be in your control, and you need to accept the ones that are not in your control, like market trend, let's say in the business world, or weather conditions in the ultramarathon world. That's way not in your control, can work in your favor, can work against you. You should take account or you should consider those things that are not in your control, and because they do have an influence on what you're doing, and take better decisions. So it's more about like the content, but I think I can see a lot of more than similarities than the differences.
Right. Why do you run?
Because it makes me feel good. That
Even at mile 90?
no, but for most of the time, it makes me feel good, and I would say in a deeper level, I believe it makes me a better person.
I
Uh,
believe the second one. The first one, I have a hard time believing it, or at least on my side, like most of the time. I mean, I do feel good. Like, have me do a marathon, I'll have fun most of the time. If we're talking about the 100K or 100 mile, I'll suffer most of the race.
I will not suffer most of the race. I will
Interesting.
not
Is
suffer.
that because of training? Is that
Yes.
genetics?
No, not genetics. Genetics, I have a certificate that I'm not gifted for
Same
long
here.
distance running, right? I'm gifted for shorter distance and not for long. So I do have a certificate that I'm not talented in that field.
Same
Uh,
here.
yeah. So, but that's not, in my control. I can control only the 100% of how will I train, etc. But I do run. I think that that's the simplest, answer. I believe it is something that makes me better, not better than other people, makes me better, on the person I want to be.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the fastest form of therapy. There's nothing that I can think of that is faster. And a lot of people also talk about spiritual trips nowadays, like ayahuasca and all of that. Well, guess what? Like 100 miler is an ayahuasca trip times two or times three. You're hallucinating.
Uh,
You're outside of your body. You're having like a different worldly experience, right? What do you have to say about that?
I did not ever yet reach to hallucinations in none
Wow.
of the races that I've done so far. The longest one was 33 hours, no sleep. So and again, I'm saying yet, so I've not been there yet. I would say on the contrary, I feel like a lot of presence and mindfulness and like the other side of the spectrum. I do totally can connect with the experience of I would say like kind of out of body experience, but not out of hallucination, but on the contrary, out of presence. I can operate my body in things that for me would seem impossible, but I can just do that.
Then you're somewhat built differently, I would say. Maybe I don't know. Like, there's the Israeli background for sure, right? Like, you guys go through military, so there's that discipline and all of that. But yeah, me, I don't know. Like, every 10 miles or so, like, if you don't give me like one of these GU Roctane gels, like, I'll start like bunking, and
Yeah.
bunking is not a good state for me. It's like low energy, and then if I go on like that for many more miles, like like probably kilometer 50 Saturday, I started having mild hallucinations, like this tree trunk became a dog. That's like often common, and then like put me in the dark with no sleep, like for 16, 20 hours, yeah, I'll have a couple of these. But yeah, like, tell me about your nutrition. Like, how do you not get like in that state or in these deep waters?
Okay. So I'm vegan not for health reasons and not for sports reasons since 2011. So 14 years by now. I'm vegan for moral reasons, and I took that decision of turning vegan into like think about my entire nutrition. So I would say 99% of the time I'm trying to eat healthy, which means fresh fruit and vegetables, or not necessarily fresh, but also like cooked legumes mainly. I'm not, paranoid about proteins and stuff like that. I'm fine, not trying to chase that. And I know whenever I eat, I put a lot of emphasis on green leafy vegetables. And I know that if I'm eating in that way, I feel way much better, and I know how can I train. Now, specifically during ultramarathon races, I do need to fuel, and then that will be the 1% of not necessarily healthy options, because what works for me is like pure carbs. It can be in form of energy gels, but it can be just Coke or dates, or dates is the healthier option, or bananas and stuff like that. But whatever works, whatever my body can digest. Now I'm like not myself, but I would say in general we are like a hybrid car. We have two sources of energy. One is the fat that we have in our body that's unlimited, and you need to train your body to use that source because it's unlimited, and so that will be one. And the other is the glycogen. So I'm training both sources, which is kind of the opposite type of training for each one. If I want to train, the fat using, I will run on empty without anything, and gradually I will be able to train my body to use it. My longest distance ever that I did with 0 calories during the workout, just water, like 0 calories, was 70K that I was able to do with
Holy shit.
0 calories. It was in a very low intensity, etc., but 0 calories intake. But you need to build that gradually. And the other extreme is I can fuel during a race 400 calories per hour if I want to. So I'm like optimizing both sources. I would say on average on 20 races, I don't need to take 400, I will take 200, 250. So it means that in a 24 hours race, I will take during the sport activity 5,000-6,000 calories, which is quite a lot.
Yeah. Well, that's what I burned in my last Saturday, 5,000 for the 70K. What's a reasonable 70K for you? Just so I can laugh a little bit. The one that you did without calories.
The reasonable time that it will take me?
Yes.
I believe that one, it was around 7 hours, like 6.
I did mine in 940 with calories.
And it wasn't overnight. It was a red eye type of workout. It's like I started at midnight, finished at 7 a.m. No sleep.
You're built differently. You're built differently.
I build it gradually. I started like really long distance. My first Spartathlon was a decade ago, 2015. So I really built that, year by year in order to reach to that level.
And when you reach a Spartathlon, what was the largest distance that you did? What's your background, your full pedigree in running?
So I started with running marathons, improving my personal best until 2:41 from 2013. Tried to improve it more, but did not succeed. But I'm happy with 2:41. Then kind of focused to longer distances. Did 60K, 100K. Won several. I won races in Israel. The shortest one was 10K, and the longest one was 24 hours. And then I won the 100 miles Berlin Wall race, as you mentioned, in 2016. Did the 100 miles in 15 hours, 20 minutes. It's like a 4 hours marathon 4 times in a row. And then like Spartathlon, that's the longest distance I did so far,
Yeah.
to 47K. But I would say that the fastest one I did in those categories, I did 228K in 24 hours. That's 6:15 pace for 24 hours, everything.
Oh boy. Yeah, you're making me laugh this Monday morning. It's just incredible for runners. My question was more, did you run as a kid? Like did you do cross
Sorry.
country? Like
No, so when I was a kid, I was good at short distances. I was at the year that in my hometown they founded the official athletic team, and they had 2 groups, long and short distances. I was in the short distances, not in the long. So yeah, so I was an athlete, but not in long distances. I discovered long distance running at the age of 35.
right. Yeah, and also in your elementary school, I'm not sure how it is in Israel, but like school are so small. So I had the best cardio in my school, but you're such a fish in a small pond, right? I was the best chess player, but I was such a small fish in a small pond back then. And when you get to a high school level, university level, then you become less good. But yeah, I always had that in me. My physiognomy is not really made for running. I just have the grit and I have good cardio, good heart. Um, did you ever get a DNF? Did not finish?
Yes, I did stop 2 races in the past because I felt that I'm either going to get injured before a much more important race, or that I'm getting too close in my standards to like not a healthy decision, I would say, like getting
Right.
a heat wave or something like that. But those were the only 2 occasions in the past. So I know that I can take that decision if it makes sense. Other than those directions, I will do whatever it takes to finish.
Right. And what was the mental process after that? Was it hard for you to digest? And two, when you got injured, because we all did get injured, how did you get over that slump as someone that being an athlete is deeply rooted in his identity?
So in general, if I'm taking the right decision, and the right decision can be the right decision with everything that I knew at that point in time, not necessarily retrospectively, then I'm okay with myself. So when I took the decision to stop the race, and that was the right decision, I'm fine. I'll try to learn the lesson, to see how can I prevent it next time, etc. Of course, I will be. I will have feelings, for that. I trained a lot for that race. I had a lot of expectations, but at the higher level view of life, I'm full of gratitude of the fact that I can do that, and and that I'm healthy to do that, and that I like to do that. So I will take it under that perspective. I almost do not get injured at all, and in the few occasions that I do, I will focus on the things that are in my control, like doing strength workout, lowering inflammation, incorporate the thing that I can do in order to move. I never like getting injured in that I cannot move. So I'll do something else for my body and for my soul. And I will listen to my body. I will not go back to training too early.
Right. Yeah, very stoic mindset. So both of us share that. But what's the feeling when you win that 100-mile Berlin Wall? Do you have a problem celebrating? I do have that problem as a high achiever. Like I never really stop and celebrate stuff. Are you that way also, or
No,
did
I
you
like
find a way to
I like
fully
to
savor?
celebrate. I like to celebrate a lot.
So do you cry on the finish line? Do you let the tears out?
In that specific one, I did not cry, but I was extremely happy. You would see a lot of smiles. I did cry at the finish line in other races. In that specific one, I was just being interviewed with the German TV, etc. So I was very excited. I did have other races. In the third Spartathlon, we had a storm over our head that almost killed us. So when I got to the
Holy
finish
shit.
line, I literally cried for like 3 minutes for just being able to finish it and
For
stay
your life.
alive. Yeah. So I do celebrate. I do celebrate a lot. And by the way, I do celebrate regardless of the result.
Right. Last question for you, because I know you're on time, very punctual guy, very disciplined guy. You're so accomplished when it comes to ultra running. You are accomplished as well in the business world, but sometimes I feel that I can crunch these ultras, and in the business world, I would deserve probably more success. Do you have some kind of problem with that?
I do not have a problem with that. I think that the main difference is that in the ultramarathon world, for good or for bad, you are on your own over there. And even though on the business world, the CEO, you're very lonely, but you are dependent on other people as well. I'm managing other teams, and I am dependent on other people, and that's a different skill set, and that's a thing that are more not in my control. But I see more the similarities than the differences.
Love that. Let's finish up with that. Ariel, where can people find out more about you and your company?
So LinkedIn, I'm in LinkedIn, both myself and my company, www.3signals.com, Facebook, Instagram, I'm there.
So that was Ariel and Charles for another